Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Right into a handful of articles, and I'm going to bounce back and forth throughout these to try and get to a point. The first article, Grayscale XRP is poised to benefit from the $2 trillion global payments market. And of late, there have been an influx of larger crypto buyers in the market, one of which is Grayscale. Grayscale is a crypto investment firm that has been mainly focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum. At one time in the last few months, Grayscale was buying more Bitcoin than was being produced by the miners. Now the already popular big buyer is shifting its gaze to another crypto, XRP. In a recent Twitter post, Grayscale seems to be throwing its weight behind the number 3 top crypto. The firm floated the idea that XRP could be ripe enough to grab a sizable chunk of the $2 trillion USD worth of global payments market. XRP addresses the liquidity challenges. On another page on its website, the investment firm set out to explain its sentiment about XRP, saying that XRP greatly appeals to banks and other financial institutions due to its innovative ability to solve liquidity issues that have long pestered the banking sector. Evidently, the current traditional payment system like SWIFT, ACH, and Fedwire have failed to adequately address this problem. Going forth, the Grayscale praised the XRP system, especially the XRP Ledger, XRPL, that has introduced various unique crypto-related products in the market. The products include XRP's on-demand liquidity, the ODL, and RippleNet. It's already in the public domain in the products that have attracted the attention of some of the largest banking institutions in the world, including a few central banks. According to a rather curious comment by one crypto fan contributing to the Twitter post, XRP is gaining even more momentum, especially since some of the biggest exchange and trading markets are already embracing it. And apparently the crypto has already been approved for trading by serious market authorities like NASDAQ, the SEC, the NYDFS, the CTFC, and the OCC. It's these important factors that could add to the growing general acceptance and adoption of XRP, and that can only have a positive impact on both its market capitalization and its price. And to be honest, now that basically I would say it has all the regulation approval that we probably would need. I think the only thing that needs to be clarified at this point now is from the court system there in Oakland, for them to say XRP is a currency or a commodity. And then I think it has the freedom it needs to spread its wings and fly, and that it will. On the next article, after end of the first phase, Vechain and Shanghai Gas enter the new phase of LNG blockchain project. And the Chinese natural gas giant Shanghai Gas, in a partnership with Vechain Foundation, is ready to kickstart a new chapter of a project aimed at building an energy-as-a-service ecosystem, as seen in a recent report published by a local Chinese media. The collaboration, which began in 2018, will lead way for a new phase of the project dedicated towards improving grid activity and slashing of operating costs. The first phase of the project was completed in March of 2020. Vechain and Shanghai Gas and the ENN Energy Holdings in 2018 partnered to launch a pilot project for the LNG storage and distribution center of Zhoushan. However, the outcome of the pilot project thrilled Shanghai Gas into accepting to further collaborate with Vechain, and Vechain Thor blockchain was used in storing LNG delivery data and storage facility data that indicates the quality of LNG in the first phase of the project. The two companies are entering the second stage of the project, and this will lead to future research works of the enhancement of the activities of the energy giant, which includes logistics management, energy trading, processing of financial products, and collaborations with other energy companies. The blockchain-based LNG management solution project was designed to help the industry ensure the sharing of transparent and error-free data between the stakeholders and the supply chain, and this would likely help China manage its growing consumer demand problem as the largest importer of LNG products across the world. In the first stage of the project, emphasis was made on increasing the delivery of liquefied natural gas, the LNG products. And earlier in March, Newslogical reported that the Shanghai Gas Group declared successful culmination of the project, and that marked the end of the project's first phase with the support of Vechain. And again, as a reminder, for Vechain, it is one of two approved cryptocurrencies in China, and Vechain was given exclusive supply chain blockchain to the entire APAC region, again being 60% of the entire global population. So Vechain has an extremely bright future. Next article to discuss is the former PayPal executive Stefan Kazriel is to lead Facebook Pay. Facebook named former PayPal Holdings Inc. executive Stefan Kazriel to lead Facebook Pay, a company executive said on Monday. The social media giant will also create a new group to look after its payments-related initiatives, including Facebook Pay and WhatsApp payments. David Marcus, co-creator of Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency project, said in a tweet. And same basic content with a little bit of different information regarding the former PayPal executive to lead Facebook Pay. And basically what's going on with Libra is becoming Facebook Pay. Facebook Pay service now being headed by former PayPal executive. And then internally it's called F2, short for Facebook Financial. The team will run all payment projects, including Facebook Pay, reports Detroit News. Facebook's cryptocurrency head, David Marcus, who is reported to run the new payment group, announced the news on Twitter. Today we're creating a new group to look after all things payments /FS at Facebook, FB Pay, Novi, WhatsApp payments. With that, I'm excited to welcome S. Kazriel to look after FB payments. No changes at Novi, which I'll continue to lead directly, Marcus tweeted. Novi is the division that is building a digital wallet to hold the Libra cryptocurrency. In the next article, we have inside Facebook and Stellar XLM partnership and why the secrecy. Business insiders say they've been told by people familiar with these talks that Facebook blockchain team has recently met with Stellar and the opportunities Facebook is looking to take. And to be clear, this article is from a discussion back in 2018, just to get to a point. One big use case for Facebook is to rival the payment networks of the big banks. And Facebook already have the computing infrastructure and the connections between people, including their identity. All they need now is to add a payment system. Facebook also have a grip of billions of mobile phones that their app and Messenger is installed on. And the bigger share of your attention Facebook can hold, the more revenue they can make by monetizing that attention. So what this news does is give us clues as to Facebook's intentions. By that I mean the very fact they are meeting with Stellar, an open source payment network tells us Facebook's general intentions. There's a great quote by the Business Insider article. It says Facebook can add a bank faster than a bank can add a social network. And if you gave me 10 seconds to explain what Stellar is, I would say that Stellar is what Ripple was originally supposed to be and is the open network alternative, the one for the people. On the next article, again from 2018, Facebook and Stellar XLM discuss crypto payment blockchain network to rival Wall Street and big banks. Facebook is reportedly speaking with Stellar about using its blockchain technology, according to a report from the Business Insider, and Facebook has already met with Stellar to discuss how Stellar's blockchain technology could integrate with Facebook's existing products and services. It's unclear how Facebook would use Stellar's technology. However, optimists suggest that this is yet another hint Facebook is exploring the launch of its own cryptocurrency, like a Facebook coin, that would be transferred via the Stellar protocol between Facebook users. Business Insider's sources suggest Facebook could even fork the Stellar blockchain, and Facebook could use the fork to process payments more efficiently than existing banks, or Facebook could launch its own Facebook-backed digital token. It has already been reported that Facebook has established a blockchain team, and it's no secret that Facebook is interested in cryptocurrencies and exploring the launch of its own blockchain technology. However, the meeting with Stellar means Facebook is continuing to research blockchain and explore various uses for it within the company. And in recent months, Facebook's blockchain team, led by former PayPal executive David Marcus, has met with open source payments technology company Stellar about some of the opportunities. People familiar with the talks told Business Insider. While the talks were early stage, they could shed light on Facebook's ambitions to push finance and take on big banks. That same source told Business Insider that Facebook is considering using blockchain tech to compete with traditional financial institutions. Blockchains capable of transferring money securely at high speed and with low cost could transform the global financial industry. Business Insider also claims to have an inside source at Stellar, and that source shed further light on the meeting with Facebook. A Stellar insider told Business Insider that it would make sense for Facebook to record payment transaction on a distributed ledger like Stellar. Other merchants could then connect to a Stellar-based ledger. The long-term goal of a platform such as this would be to compete with the SWIFT payment network and similar financial services. It would create a globally accessible financial platform, allowing for the seamless transfer of value between users, presumably Facebook users. And SWIFT and similar services currently connect banks together, allowing bank customers to transfer money to accounts on other banks, and a Stellar-based crypto payment platform could offer similar but superior functionality. Interestingly, the Business Insider is reporting that Facebook is considering forking the main Stellar network. Facebook and Stellar have spoken about the firm potentially forking the main Stellar network as part of its blockchain efforts. A fork would split the Stellar blockchain in two, similar to what happened with the Bitcoin blockchain in August of 2017, splitting Bitcoin into BTC and BCH. By forking the Stellar blockchain, Facebook could access a highly functional, fast, and proven network without investing in its own blockchain platform. As an open source platform, Facebook has the freedom to fork Stellar and create its own coin. Facebook is known for working with other open source technologies, being one of the largest maintainers of React, an open source technology language. It could in theory fork an existing blockchain as opposed to building its own. And in the next article I want to get into, the Facebook execs reportedly meet with Stellar while pursuing crypto strategy. And what's a little different in this is a little more information in regards to Stellar getting courted by the Silicon Valley and Facebook's crypto plans may slowly be coming into focus, and it appears the company could have the financial industry in their blue tinted sights. Business Insider has published an unconfirmed report that David Marcus, head of Facebook's blockchain team, met up with Stellar, the crypto payment company that uses XLM digital currency. And again, there's more discussion into that, basically what we just covered. So we'll go into the next article that I have pulled for you. Stellar's plan to win the global payments play nice with the finance cops. And there's a mobile app approved by the Mexican government that lets 20,000 migrant workers in the U.S. pay bills back home, and it's over the Stellar network. That's according to Marco Montez Neri, the creator of the Saldo app, which relies on peso-backed stablecoins. Stellar has created a set of protocols and a set of standards to handle all of these regulatory obligations, he said, adding, if you want to touch real people's money, you need to play ball with the regulators. This theme came up again and again at the Stellar Meridian conference. Let me go through the date really quick. This was last year, November 7th, the end of last year. The current week of this article in Mexico City, with roughly 350 people, most of whom were building on Stellar in attendance. Embracing financial rules seemed to be a defining theme of Facebook's move fast and break things, and it was not the mantra. Making sure Stellar is useful for actual people was always the goal, said Jed McCaleb, who created the cryptocurrency in 2014. That will ultimately always come back to some sort of regulatory situation, and we do not avoid it. Or stated, we don't avoid it. McCaleb now serves as the CTO of the SDF, the Stellar Development Foundation. And McCaleb co-founded Ripple back in 2012. But in recent months, Facebook Libra project has pushed talk of crypto remittances under the regulatory microscope. Stellar's advantage is that it's already here and moving, with a built-in compliance layer just above the protocol itself. This allows users to plug into a common set of KYC and AML standards. And Neri said that makes Stellar helpful for a business like his in a way that Ethereum does not. And in other ledgers, that layer doesn't exist yet because it doesn't have the focus, Neri said. You can build it, but the problem is it's not compatible with another project that wants to do the same thing. And the SDF CEO, Danelle Dixon, says she doesn't want to just help people cope with regulations. She wants to go to rule makers and show them how blockchain technology is making the world a more orderly place, said Dixon. And we actually need to focus on getting more regulators involved. And if you remember, Stellar wants to be the chosen platform for a digital dollar. Stellar has achieved some big milestones in the last 5 years, but it has lofty goals for the next half of a decade. In brief, Stellar wants to become the global payments standard in the next 5 years. While admitting it won't happen anytime soon, the Stellar Foundation wants governments to issue CBDCs on the network. Several Stellar network upgrades are planned for June. And at the time of this article, which is recent from this year, the Stellar Development Foundation shared its lofty goal to become the next global payment standard. How it will get there, however, depends on whether governments choose to harness Stellar's permissionless network for CBDCs. Speaking during Consensus, Stellar CEO Danelle Dixon kicked proceedings off with an applicable nod to the current financial crises. And the existing financial infrastructure is outdated, operating on models that have been unchanged for decades, said Dixon. In the context of the issue at hand, how many people have waited for weeks for their paper stimulus check? This, she suggests, is forcing policymakers, governments, and central banks alike to recognize the need for innovation as well as equitable access to the financial system. In response, Stellar has been examining how to implement CBDCs, and CBDCs was exactly the type of digital money Stellar was designed for. connecting today's real-world financial infrastructure with the digital blockchain world, Dixon explained. When asked what was this new normal might bring for Stellar, Dixon responded that it would likely create a huge opportunity, with blockchain becoming the arbiter of innovation. Talks inevitably turned to Facebook's Libra, a project that has had to drastically change direction from initial conception due to regulatory pressure, with Stellar attempting to achieve a similar goal. Will regulation become a hindrance? The network layer is much like the internet. It shouldn't be regulated, explains Dixon, and Stellar itself is the layer that everyone can build on top of, so I don't see regulation with respect to that. And as for whether a government would opt to create a digital dollar on private sector initiatives such as Stellar or Libra, Stellar's founder Jed McCaleb remained tactful. We've talked to a few governments around the world about CBDCs, and I still think it's pretty early for that, and especially early for them to issue these things on a public chain. Most governments, when they get into the nuts and bolts of it, they want to control it, says McCaleb. So I still think the whole CBD story is far away. Nevertheless, he holds out hope that a government does choose a permissionless chain, and Stellar is in particular. There's still more into this article if you're interested, but I definitely wanted to bring it back up because we've shown here from 2018, 2019, and this article from 2020, Stellar and Facebook continue to have a conversation. And what do we have here? IBM says it's ready to work with Facebook on its blockchain. I'm just going to skip around a little bit in this. Again, all articles, as with every show, are available in the description below. Feel free to click the link after watching through the video and read the full extent and content of the articles that we discuss and share. As a big reminder here, IBM has been focused on developing its patented Stellar blockchain to facilitate cross-border payments and launched the WorldWire, an international payment system that uses Stellar. So again, just a reminder that the IBM isn't not just using the Stellar protocol or blockchain, but it's developed in its patent. The next discussion, Facebook launches dedicated fintech division, the F2, and despite the lack of progress on its Libra stablecoin project, Facebook has doubled down on its fintech efforts, launching a new product group. And here, F2 looks to bring all of Facebook's existing fintech projects, such as the Novi wallet, formerly known as Calibra, and WhatsApp payments under one command. And that's where it's going to get even more interesting. The Calibra wallet changes its name to Novi, and Calibra's Facebook digital wallet was rebranded and renamed to Novi. The company also shared new information about the project. And again, the article will be here available for you to view if you're interested in more of the details on the Libra/Calibra wallet. As we've seen, that Libra is now become the F2, the Facebook financial division, and Calibra has now become Novi. What I like here is you have the Pays app is Stellar Payments, and the WhatsApp send money to more than 1 billion people in the world via WhatsApp, Telegram, or Keybase. Any currency, any asset in seconds using the Stellar network. Another thing too that's very interesting is is it in this article? Give me a second. You have the Telegram, Keybase, and WhatsApp on the Stellar network. Give me a moment and check the next article. Here it is. PayZapp, Stellar Payments in WhatsApp, Telegram, Keybase, Matrix, Discord, Slack, and Twitter. Using the similar system that the XRP community is familiar with for Pay's ID. Stellar Payments in WhatsApp, hello, welcome to PayZapp. Name, Caro, your name has been set. Send 100 to George. Invalid action, type help for more info. Pay 100 to George. Payment sent. And there's your balance. Balance is 9,900 XLM. If you were able to follow that, I was just reading back and forth on the example they showed from the PayZapp on a mobile phone. But again, PayZapp, Stellar Payments in WhatsApp, Telegram, Keybase, Matrix, Discord, Slack, and Twitter. And then here, want to do a final article, just bouncing back and forth here. Stellar Lumens aims to be the basis for the digital dollar. The CEO of Stellar Development Foundation, Danelle Dixon, was criticized the lack of the innovation in the traditional financial system and suggested the Stellar Lumens blockchain as a basis for the digital dollar. So it's very interesting how this all comes together. As a quick refresher, Grayscale XRP is poised to benefit from the $2 trillion USD global payments market, and that's very massive. Imagine what your assets would be worth with a singular movement of $2 trillion into the global payments market. How nice would that be? Where do you think your investment would be? Yeah, I do too. The next article, Vechain and Shanghai Gas are entering a new phase. So now you have another boost for your investment in Vechain. So XRP is getting ready to take off in a massive way. Vechain just hit a new level and new phase as well. And now we have here Facebook named former PayPal Holdings executive Stefan Krasarial to lead Facebook Pay, which was known as Libra cryptocurrency. So what is better than to connect with something than build something new? And who would they connect to? It's very interesting. What do you have here? The social media giant also creating the new group to look after its payments related initiatives, including Facebook Pay and WhatsApp payments. David Marcus, the co-creator of Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency project, said in a tweet. And here's the tweet directly right there. And then when we got into some of the other articles that were in discussion with Stellar on building the Facebook project, and who did we find? None other than David Marcus. In recent months, Facebook's blockchain team, led by former PayPal executive David Marcus, has met with open source payments technology company Stellar. About some of these opportunities, people familiar with the talks told Business Insider, while the talks were early stage, they could shed light on Facebook's ambitions to push into finance and take on big banks. So there you have it, the crazy integrated systems and all of the interoperabilities. And then we've shown how your XRP investment is soon to skyrocket. We've shown your Vechain investment is getting ready to grow to a next level as well. And now we've shown Facebook has changed its name, and it's also changed its wallet. So now we have Facebook Pay and we have Novi, and they connect from 2018, 2019, and 2020 to Stellar, even where Stellar is planning on being the basis for the digital dollar. We've even shown them connecting back to IBM, which has its patent on Stellar. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this leads. But either which way, as always, you know our favorites, and we just discussed them all in one video, showing how XRP is going to be getting ready to launch. The same with XLM and with Vechain. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you with a final thought. Be strong because things will get better. It may be stormy now, but it never rains forever. Remember, this is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Much love to all of you, and we will catch you in the next one.